Hello, my friends. Good night, Shabbos. Happy Friday, followed by a beautiful, wonderful, and inspirational Shabbos Kodesh. In this week's Parsha, this week's Torah reading, Parshas Seitzei, we learn about a very beautiful mitzvah, and that's a mitzvah where we show respect for other people's property. We are told that if you find a lost object and it is identifiable by the owner, you have an obligation. Hashev tashivim la'achicha, give it back. Find the owner, make an announcement, put an ad in the paper, whatever it takes, and get it back to the owner. Very different than what we're all taught in grade school. This terrible, terrible idea of finders, keepers, losers, sweepers. That's horrible. It's a lack of respect of human dignity, of ownership. The Torah teaches us that we have to have respect for other people's property. So much so that somebody else's money, we're told, you should have more respect and treat it with more, be more careful with it than with your own. You know, I used to teach in a school, and a principal, and we got a new English principal who had taught in inner city public schools for 40 years before she came to our school. And I asked her, tell me something that's very different from our school than what you're used to. And she said, respect for property. She said, you have a lost and found here that's full of things that people have brought in. Where I came from, we didn't have a lost and found department because if we did, it would be empty. She said, I saw people drop something. Somebody came up from behind them, saw that it was dropped, saw who dropped it, picked it up and put it in their pocket, and the other person turned around and said, give it back. And they said, too late. And they both went off like, that's the law of the jungle. It might be the law of the jungle. That's not the law of the Torah. We respect other people's property. But there's a much deeper lesson here. We're supposed to give back things that are owned to their owner. Aren't we, the Jewish people, called Banim Atem LaHashem Elokeichem? You are children to your God. When one of us is lost, isn't it the obligation of the rest of us to help them find their way back? To return them to their father? To return them to their owner? Let me explain with a story about a man who was in my kind of business, outreach, and he lost a very young child. And when he was sitting Shiva, a group of his students, non-religious students, came to him and they said, Rabbi, we didn't know what to do for you. We didn't know what to do about your child. So we decided we're going to keep Shabbos this week in memory of your child. And he smiled at them as tears welled up in his eyes. After they left, someone else who was sitting there, one of his friends, snickered and said, they're going to keep one Shabbos. Big deal. And the rabbi looked at him, again with tears in his eyes, and he said, I'd like you to go into the other room where my wife is and ask her what she would do to spend one more Shabbos with her child. There are many Jews out there who don't know what it is to keep a Shabbos. Rosh Hashanah is coming, and there are many Jews out there that don't even know what it is. What would our Father do for the joy of spending one Shabbos with their child? And that, my friends, is what top is all about. The mitzvah of a Shabbos Haveda, of returning lost objects, of returning souls back to their Father in heaven, of helping return our people and give them a sense of who they are and who they really belong to. Kadosh Baruch Hu, God Himself. Have a beautiful Shabbos.